Do you want to stream your webinar live on multiple platforms and set it up in just minutes? Well, let me show you how to do that in Riverside. We'll start here in the Planner tab, and what we're going to do is we're going to set up multiple platforms for our stream to go to from our webinar. So we can either create a new webinar or just edit an existing one. And what we want to do is when we are actually setting up our webinar is we want to go to this live stream destinations here and go ahead and turn that on. From there, you can choose the platforms you want to stream to, like YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch as examples, and then connect them to whatever accounts or pages you want the stream to go to. Once you've added your platforms, you can then upload a thumbnail that can be displayed on all relevant platforms, and then we can toggle each one of our platforms on that we want to use, and then we can go into those individual streams and modify the details of each individual destination, depending on which one it is and which details it requires. So things like the title, description, and the privacy for that platform, again, depending on what options are available. When everything looks right, go ahead and hit Create Webinar or Update Webinar. Now on supported platforms, Riverside will create the scheduled event for you. So if we open this back up and then we select Manage Webinar, you'll see under streaming links that we have links on platforms that support scheduled event pages. For example here, YouTube and LinkedIn both have unique pages or links for anybody that watches the stream on those platforms, but Twitch doesn't have a specific link because it's the same for every single live stream and doesn't have a dedicated event page. When it's time to go live, open the webinar by hitting Start Webinar, setting up our hardware accordingly, and then hitting Join Studio. Then once everything in the studio is set up to your liking, you can hit Go Live, and you'll be broadcasting to each platform. Now, depending on the platform, sometimes it can take up to half a minute or so for the feed to start showing up, so just keep that in mind. Now, the next part I want to draw your attention to is the public chat, also known as Omnichat. While you're live, all the viewer comments will show up right here inside of Riverside's public chat, regardless of the platform, assuming it's supported. So instead of jumping between Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, and your audience directly on Riverside, you can see all the chat messages populate in the same chat box and see where each message came from, which is really helpful when you're streaming to more than one destination at the same time. And when you reply inside of Riverside, that reply gets sent back to the original platform where the viewer commented. Now, one thing to keep in mind at this time is that Omnichat doesn't merge every platform's chat together for the viewers, so someone watching on YouTube won't see comments from a Twitch chatter and vice versa. However, when you send a normal chat message, that chat will get sent to each platform. This way, you as the host or producer can have much easier communication with all of your audience, especially without having to flip through different tabs or windows. You can also highlight comments so they're easier to respond to while live. This is great for Q&A sections, audience reactions, or just pulling out a comment you want to address. Now, another way to make your webinar more interactive is with live call-ins. Now, this is exclusive only to viewers watching on the Riverside platform itself, but an audience member can request to join the live studio. When they do that, they'll be prompted to connect their mic and camera, add their name, and give a reason for joining. Then, as the host or producer, you'll get a notification with their request, and from there, you can accept them and add them to the screen so they can join the live stream, or you can decline their request. And anyone who joins the stream will also be recorded for editing later. And finally, you can also customize how the stream looks with Riverside's branding tools. Over here in the brand panel, you can add things like logos, colors, graphics, and font styles, so the webinar feels more polished and on brand. You can also use lower thirds and text banners to introduce speakers, display a topic, promote a link, or call out what's happening in the next session. So Riverside gives you all this control of the webinar streaming experience, but in a simplistic form, and it allows you to keep it interactive, polished, and on brand to provide an amazing experience for your audience. And that's it. Now you can multi-stream your webinars in one quick setup. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and comment down below on what other features or platforms you'd like to see. Thank you so much for watching, and we can't wait to see what you create.